I really never thought I would miss being in school. I never thought I would miss those days at all. Yet, here I am, every once in a while. I get a little, I don't know if nostalgic is the right word. I don't think I can really be nostalgic about school because I didn't really go to school, right? I've mentioned that before, but I don't know, something about today. Maybe it's just the time. August. Well, August is almost over, but school starting back up and stuff, whatever, making me a little reminiscent, I suppose, but I never thought I would be. I never thought I would miss those days because I hated it. I hated being in school. I hated it, all of it, forever. As long as I can remember, I hated being in school. I was never a fan from the beginning. From, back in kindergarten, I was not a fan. I liked to be at home, doing my thing, left alone, whatever. But nowadays I'm a little different, I suppose. I'm a little older, and it's not so much school that I miss. It's just the convenience of school that I miss. Because, like I mentioned, I didn't really go to school for a long time. I I can't really give a pinpoint because nobody seems to remember, everyone that I've asked. I want to say it probably started in like fifth grade, definitely in sixth grade. I just kind of stopped going to school. I got really sick, or sick enough that I stopped going to school just forever. Basically, dropped out without dropping out. And I would just stay home sick every day of every week for multiple years. I would maybe go at most like a week to each one of my grades. I think seventh grade I did a better job at trying to go more because I liked one of my teachers. He was pretty cool. But overall, I basically grew up on academic probation because I missed so much school. Constantly, I shouldn't say constantly in and out of the courthouse, but more than a handful of times at probation meetings and one point family therapy and like all kinds of stuff trying to find the root of my issues, the root of my stomach issue. Thank you, Creeper. I never would have seen those there. Amazing. Oh my goodness. Okay. Are we good? Okay. Anyways, so for many, many, many years, we were all over the place. Court, probation, doctors, lots and lots and lots of doctors' offices, trying to figure out what was wrong with me, what was wrong with my stomach in particular, as to why I couldn't go to school or didn't want to go to school. And I mean, as much as we found the answer, we never really found the answer. My problems kind of just went away, and I still am not 100% sure about any of it. And I feel like it's partially in part that my parents didn't really believe me after a certain point, which understandably, how does one kid have stomach issues for over like almost 10 years, over 10 years, somewhere around there? Just doesn't really make sense, you know? But I was stubborn and refused to look any further into my issues. I probably knew what was wrong somewhere in the back of my mind. I probably knew why I didn't want to go to school, and it probably wasn't entirely related to stomach issues. Or I think what we decided on after so many years, that's not what I wanted to throw in there. Anyways, after so many years of doctor's offices and stuff, I think we decided that it was acid reflux issues, or that's what we chalked it up to. just so that we could say it was something. But I tried lots of different medications that did no help. Tried lots of different things, lots of different doctors, lots of blood work. I've had a camera, like tube camera, shoved down my throat to look inside my stomach. I think twice I had to go do that um, for nothing. Like, so when my parents didn't really believe me, I don't really blame them. And at one point, my probation officer wanted me to try going to therapy because he was convinced that it was a mental issue. I think him and my dad both were convinced that it was a mental issue that was rooting itself into my stomach hurting and being sick and whatever. And they were both probably right. Probably was just a mental issue, loneliness or whatever might be wrong with me, anxiety, depression, something going on up in there that seems to have rooted itself in my stomach. But as a kid, when I was given that opportunity in, I want to say, sixth grade or seventh grade, I didn't want to go to therapy. I thought that was for sad people and old people, and like, I don't know what I thought. I was a little kid. I didn't really understand. It wasn't normalized to me. So I felt like I was weird because I had to go to therapy or something. And I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go talk to somebody about my problems and what's bothering me. Like, you're a stranger. I don't know you. I don't even talk to my mom about what's on my mind. Why would I talk to a stranger, right? So obviously, therapy doesn't really do much good if you don't want it. If you're not willing to accept, or not even accept, but like talk to your therapist and stuff. And, you know, it's not really going to do you much good to have a therapist. They can't really help you if you don't talk to them. And so we canceled that after like one appointment, I believe. Never went back. And sometimes I regret that. Sometimes I wonder if I would have been better off had I just done what I was supposed to, talk to my therapist. Maybe I would have known the root of my issues long before now, where I just come and talk about everything and anything that's on my mind to whoever cares to listen. Maybe I would have known, but oh well, it's in the past now. Who cares? It's whatever. I'm still here, still alive. I managed to graduate somehow, barely, but I don't know. And I oftentimes I wish I could go back and I wish I could do it again. I think that's what I miss, or what I regret, I guess, is that I didn't go and I didn't care that people wanted to help me find the source of my issues and wanted me to go to school. But that was always the problem, is I didn't want to go to school to go to school. I wanted to go to school because I wanted to hang out with people and I wanted to see my friends. And that didn't really hit me until I got older and I got out of school, is when it really started to click with me how much social experience I missed and how much time with the people that I grew up with I just didn't have because I didn't go to school. I was more concerned with my PlayStation friends than living a real life, because I'm sure there's a lot of reasons as to why that is. Feeling uncared for and unwanted and like a last resort and etc., etc., etc. All kinds of things. I'm sure I could dive deeper and figure out why I cared more about my online friends than my real life friends, but I don't know. I don't even know if that's really the full root of why I didn't go to school. I mean, if my brain's telling me that it is, then it's probably true, you know. Granted, I don't always trust my own brain very often, so who knows, really. But anyways, I graduated somehow, eventually. Managed to, lots of summer school and summer classes, and but I got I graduated with all my friends, except not actually, because I didn't get to walk the stage with everybody. I went to everyone's graduation, all my friends and stuff. I sat up in the crowd with everybody's parents and watched all my friends walk the stage and get handed their diplomas and give speeches or whatever. And I was just in the crowd like everybody else. So my graduation never really felt official in my head. Like I still don't ever really feel like I graduated, and I really feel like I should have just dropped out a long time ago because I knew that I was going nowhere and that school was not meant for me. And my best friend for a long time also dropped out, but he dropped out long before he'd signed the paperwork. That kid would come to school specifically to skip class and try to convince all of his other friends to skip class with him so that they could just hang out and do whatever. And sometimes I wish I could have given in, or I could have followed suit, if you will, and I would have dropped out with him and just spent all my time hanging out with him and figuring out a life to from there, like chasing some sort of dream or something. Like, I know for a long time he wanted to make music, and so his whole idea was drop out so he could spend all his time writing songs and stuff. And he got damn good at it. I truly hope he's still going, but I don't talk to him anymore because I don't talk to anybody anymore. So I'm not too sure, but I oftentimes really wish I would have joined him since I knew from a young age that I was basically a dropout and that school was not my place, not my forte. And I feel like I could have just had more time to spend with my friends before I grew up and became this sheltered, self isolating adult who doesn't go anywhere, doesn't talk to people, desperately misses my friends but refuses to reach out to any of them. And I don't know. I don't know. So sometimes I miss when I had that convenience, when everybody was just in one centralized location. Because I did eventually go back to school after many, many years of not. I went to my junior year, my 11th grade of high school, and senior year for that matter too. But 11th grade is where I was like, okay, time to get back on track, get my life together because I can't just die after high school. It's not realistic or not really I don't want to say a nice thing to do, but in the context of like I don't want to make my parents sad and stuff like that. It's not a nice thing to do to just die when I get out of high school. And I was reconnecting with my friends. I met a girl who I think that's what really drove me to go back to school is I got a crush on a girl in real life, and so I was like I have to go to school because I have to see this girl because you know falling in love is going to change everything for me and it's going to make my entire life make sense or something. Newsflash, it doesn't. Just fair warning. But so I went back to school and I tried to get my life together and I started hanging out with all my friends again. And I realized how much I missed because my friends would tell me all these stories back in eighth grade and, you know, freshman year and like homecoming and proms and stuff. I guess I went to one prom, but like all these experiences and all this growing up that all my friends did without me. I felt so sheltered, I guess. And I did it to myself. I self isolated from a young age. I didn't want to go out and be a person. I didn't want to just do anything. I shut myself off from the rest of the world and I was happy with it. That was okay. That's what I wanted to do. It's who I wanted to be. And now I don't really regret it by any means. Like I don't want to live a life of regret, and so I don't really think about it very often. I don't think back on this very often. But every once in a while, just like, man, it'd be so nice to be back in high school. That 3 o'clock bell rings. I already know where all my friends are going to be. So I'll meet them down at the smoker's corner and we'll plan our day from there. Who knows what's to come? Who knows what we might do, where we might go. Just walk around the city for some hours, doing whatever, talking to whoever wants to join us, you know? It was so simple and it was so easy back then. Everybody was just right there. We were all in one centralized location. We didn't have to call each other and figure out who can get a ride or who can drive here, or who can drive there. We just we knew where we were going to be. We knew our best friend Jay was going to be down at the corner all day because he came to school in the morning just to skip class, and so we knew where to find him. He knew where to find us. It was simple. It was so easy. It was so just nice. It was just nice, you know? I never cared about the education. I never cared about learning math and science, and don't get me wrong, I have interest in studies of that kind, somewhat. Science mostly. I've never been much of a mathematician. That was always my mom's strong suit. But it was the social aspect of everything, the convenience of everybody being in one place and being able to just live in the moment so much easier, I feel like. Now I'm an adult and I can't like plan a sleepover with the guys because we have to work in the morning. We can't stay up until 2 in the morning just partying or whatever. Not that I was ever a party kid, but we can't do stuff like that anymore because we have responsibilities and we have lives to live, or at least trying to, or some of us are, you know? And that's not to like dog on any of my friends or anything. I'm sure they're all doing amazing things with their lives. I wouldn't know because I don't talk to them anymore because yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. I feel like it's a mix of I burnt myself out spending so much time with them that I just needed a break. I needed to take a step back because I went from this life of isolation where I didn't talk to hardly anybody except for maybe the same two or three, maybe four people that were on my PlayStation friends list. Truly, honestly, my best friends for a long time. Just because they're on the internet doesn't make it any less real, no matter what my mom says. I don't care. But anyway, so basically spent all my time alone because at a certain point, after multiple years of not going to school, my dad was not going to let me just stay home and play PlayStation all day. So he would unplug it, take it to work with him, unplug the internet cord so I couldn't just sit and like text all day or watch YouTube all day or whatever. I basically just sat in a room by myself with nobody to talk to ever for multiple years. And then I started hanging out with my friends all the time because I was like, I love socializing. I love social interaction. I love my people. They love me. And then I got a little older and I started to question that. And I started to question, do my people love me or do they love what I can provide for them? Do they love hanging out with me or do they love that I can provide them a safe space to do whatever and my parents don't care or my mom doesn't care what we do, you know? I started to question how much it was me that they were coming over for, or if it was just the convenience and the benefits that I could provide, you know, because I was a giver. I've always been a giver. I've always been a provider. I've always been a host type where I want to make sure everyone around me has everything that they want or need, you know, just the only thing I need in return is your company and your love and support or whatever. And I guess after a while, I just started to question because it didn't really feel like they were coming over to hang out with me anymore. It just, we were, we would sit in the same room and nobody was talking to each other. We were all just on our phones doing our own thing. It was just, it didn't feel like we were hanging out to hang out with each other anymore, you know? And I guess it kind of just broke me, and it was like I can't spend my time just sitting around with my favorite people, even if they are my best friends. I felt like I was wasting my life to a degree. I felt like I needed to be trying to be somebody or do something with my future, and that was not it. Sitting around on my phone doing nothing all day was not it, you know? And so I wouldn't say I cut them off because it was never really like that. It was never any bad blood or anything. It was just I needed to be me again. I needed to find myself again. I needed to isolate and spend all my time alone and figure out who I want to be, where I want to go, what I'm going to do with this life if I'm not going to end it, you know? Because that was the plan for a long time. But I changed my mind about that. And now I had to figure out where to go next. And sitting around with the homies all day was not it. But then I never came back to them. I never found myself, for one, and I never came back to them. I let the distance grow. I stopped answering texts. I would make excuses anytime somebody would want to hang out. I let all those friendships dwindle and die. And granted, that's a little dramatic. I'm sure they would love to talk to me again. And for a while they would make efforts. For a while people were always texting me, reaching out, trying to get me out of the house, trying to have a conversation. And understandably, they all gave up. I don't blame them for that. But I still reminisce a lot. Not a lot, but once in a while. I think back to those school days when everything was so simple and so easy, and sometimes I wish I could have done things differently. Sometimes I wish I could have just dropped out and spent my days with my best friend Jay, just skipping class, doing whatever, hanging out all day long, you know? I feel like I feel like I might have been better off doing something like that because I hate to say it, but my diploma took me nowhere. It I don't even know if I own it anymore. If I do, it's sitting in a box collecting dust somewhere. It's not really something I'm proud of because I never felt like I earned it. I never had that satisfaction of walking the stage. Nobody ever wanted graduation photos. Nobody wanted me to put a cap and gown on even for like anything ever. I never had any sort of recognition or celebration that I graduated, that I did it, that I pulled my bootstraps up and I made it work, even after all the years that I skipped school and didn't go, and pulled it together in the last 2 years of high school and managed to graduate. And I don't even think either of my parents said they were proud of me for it. And I mean, I don't really blame them. I I've never had high expectations for myself, so I wouldn't expect them to have any higher expectations for me, but I feel like it reinforces this feeling of worthlessness, that it's just a meaningless piece of paper, that it doesn't benefit my life in any way, shape, or form, and I feel like I wasted my years trying to get it. You know, the 2 years that I did spend trying to get it, I feel like I could have spent them just enjoying my life a little more before reality set in and I have to be an adult now and I don't have bills to pay, but I'm trying to get to a point where I have my own place to live and my own bills to pay and my own family to take care of and stuff, and gone nowhere. I did all that self-isolating to go nowhere. And so it just feels like a huge waste of time. I just feel like I've had a huge wasted life doing nothing, going nowhere. And granted, I love my life that I've lived. I love whatever it is that brought me here and made me the person I am. I would never, I feel even if I could go back and change that, I don't think I would, you know? I don't think I would. I'm very happy with the person that I am, even if don't fully understand myself or, you know, if I'm not fully where I want to be in life right now and whatever. Me, and that's good enough, you know? I've made it this far, and so I don't think I would go back and change that. I don't think I would go back and if I had the opportunity. I don't know. Maybe I would. Maybe I'd go back to like freshman year and just start skipping class again, or go back to eighth grade summer when everything changed in my friend group and all my friends became the people that they were or are or whatever. Eighth grade was like the big year that everything changed for everybody. So maybe I would. Maybe I would go back to like then and show up and try to be a normal kid like everybody else instead of this isolated, introverted recluse that I am now, that I have been for so long. I don't know. Don't know. But my feelings about school still stay the same. I'm proud of anybody who has the knowledge, courage, strength, and ability to go to school and to do their damnedest to succeed. Whether it's normal, middle, high school, college, it don't matter. It's all the same. I mean, it's not, but same same idea of courage and strength and things that I didn't have. I didn't have the strength or the courage to show up every day and be a person and be a kid like everybody else. I didn't have that in me. And so I didn't go. And granted, I don't know if it would have made much of a difference. Maybe if I did go, I'd have more ambitions, I'd have more goals or ideas of what I want out of my life or out of the future, but I don't know. I think school was a pretty big waste of time, and at least for me personally, I cannot speak for anybody else. For me personally, I think school was a pretty big waste of time. I think I would have been better off not having gone, would have just been able to figure my life out a little bit faster in some ways. Maybe. Maybe that's not true. Maybe not. Maybe the only waste of time was me not going to school, and maybe if I would have just gotten my shit together at a much younger age, I'd be better off now, you know? I don't know. I can't really say because I can't speak for the past. I can only live in the present and hope the best for the future. But I don't regret not going. I don't regret the decisions that I made. I just regret that I was born so introverted, which I guess I can't really regret that because I can't really control that, but just not a social person. I have my moments, I have my time where I can be somebody, where I can socialize like a normal person does or should or whatever. But most times, overall, pretty introverted, quite a recluse, don't like going out, don't like talking to people. I reminisce and don't make any efforts because it leaves me with weird empty feelings when I do see people and they leave. Makes me feel so empty and so alone, and I constantly question whether they feel the way I think they do about me or if they are just nice to me because what I can provide or because we've grown up together or whatever. Like I'm sensitive and self-conscious, and I constantly question how people feel about me. No matter the amounts of reassurance, I think I just have trust issues. I don't believe people, and I oftentimes just feel like I'm better off alone. I oftentimes just feel like this is how it's meant to be. This is how it should be. This is what's best for me. even when it feels so lonely and empty and sad. But I don't know. I don't know. People don't really take that feeling away from me. That's probably why I started isolating myself in the first place, is because I would be in a room with my three or four best friends and I would just feel so alone and so empty and so miserable that I just didn't didn't make a difference whether they were there or not, you know? So I mean, I think it's pretty abundantly obvious that it's something deeper in my mental that has led to these problems and these feelings. And I continue to, I wouldn't say refuse to get help. I don't think refusing is the right word because, well, I guess maybe it is the right word. I mean, at one point it was just flat out refusal to go to therapy, to get help, to help myself or whatever. But that was school days. Things were different back then. Things weren't so complex in my brain back then. It was just easier. Much, much easier. And I think that's what I miss the most about the school days is that things were just so, so, so much easier back then. But like I said, and I'll keep saying, I firmly believe school was a huge waste of my time, and I don't regret that. I also feel like I shouldn't bother trying to dig around looking for an entrance here because I'm probably not gonna find it. I should probably just dig in and, oop, well, yeah, probably the better idea. Let's go do that. So, to, I don't know, not wrap this up, but um, to kind of try and collect my thoughts here, good on you if you're going to school and if you're not, I don't want to say chasing a dream because not everybody's dreams are going to school, but doing something with your life, unlike me, and you have some sort of idea in mind with where you're going or what you want to do, good on you. If you like school, even, I've met kids that actually like school, they like to learn. I wish I liked learning. I really wish I liked learning because learning is so important. It's in my very humble opinion, I think learning is the lifeblood of human nature in some capacity. I mean, that's what we spend our whole lives doing is just learning new things, learning how to be people, you know? So I wish I liked learning. I wish I liked school back when I was in school. Even now, there's nothing stopping me from going to college except for the price tag. But, loans and grants and that kind of stuff. But I just don't have the passion in me to do it. I don't like school. I think it's a huge waste of time and a waste of money. And, but in saying that, as I was trying to say, if you were one of those people who's going to school and going to college, I've had a handful of people telling me about what they're studying and how stressful it is for one, which I'm very sorry for you guys. I hope this new year of college, if you're starting a new year or if you graduated, you know, doesn't matter. Props to you all the same. It doesn't matter whether you're starting a new year, graduated, whatever, continuing your education. Props to you. Big props to you because I could never do it. I never could do it. I'm not built like that. Not built for that kind of stuff. It's just a personal flaw of mine, I suppose, that I am who I am, and I wouldn't say I refuse to change, but I'm just not great at it. Some things about me I just can't seem to change. Some things about my personality, my identity, such as anything related to school, just doesn't seem to change. And I will forever, maybe not forever. I keep saying that I feel like school is a waste of time. I don't. I really don't. I think school is super important. I think knowledge is power, learning is vital. Like I just said, it's like the lifeblood of human nature is to learn. But in my personal circumstances and in my personal life, school was the biggest waste of time I've ever been in. I should have just started working when I was like 14, and I would be so much better off right now. I would be so, probably not happy right now, but like, I don't think I'd be half as miserable. Maybe a different kind of miserable, but just I wasted my time going to school and not even for a good reason. I didn't go for education. I went for social purposes, which was, well, I say not for a good reason. That was the best reason. That was the only reason I went to school was for social purposes, and I don't regret that whatsoever. I regret not going to more school for more social interaction and to hang out with more people. And so, anyways, live your life however you see fit. If you're going to school and you're studying for a degree, good for you. Like, not being sarcastic, genuinely, actually, honestly, that's amazing. And I hope you can do great things with whatever degree you're chasing after, that you're grinding away for. I could never do it. I am a just just a failure, dude. I'm really just a fucking failure. I'm a disappointment and I'm a failure, and that's okay. I've come to terms with that. With that's who I am and how I am, and hopefully not who I'll be forever. I don't want to be a failure forever, but when it comes to school, when it comes to being a good friend in my adult years, I suck. I'm the worst of the worst. Biggest disappointment that you could ever meet. But that's okay. It is what it is. I just want to be happy. You know, it's all I want in this world. It's all I want for anybody in this world is I just want people to be happy. Whatever makes you happy, keep doing it. Keep trying. Keep studying. Keep, you know, don't stress those tests too much. I don't think there's any tests. I think finals are well passed over now because it's like a whole new school year and stuff, but just enjoy the moment. Don't worry so much, you know? I know it's a lot easier said than done, but life is long, school is hard, friends come and go. Just cherish everything while you have it. Those stressful days in college dorms are not going to be there forever. And one day, when you're out of that college dorm and you're trying to find a job, and you might be like, damn, I miss when all my friends were living down the hall from me and we could just throw impromptu pizza parties whenever we wanted or something. I don't know. I didn't go to college, so I don't know what it's like, but you get the idea, right? Just cherish those moments while you have them because you're not going to have them forever. Even if they're bad times, even if it feels miserable, it can always get worse. It can always get worse. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you haven't figured it out by now, I don't know how to help you. Life has this crazy tendency to constantly just get worse. Even when you think it's not gonna, it usually finds a way to. So, like, don't waste your time doing things that don't bring you joy. Don't be like me and waste your time isolating yourself in your room, or on the opposite spectrum, don't waste your time going to school when you know that you don't belong there or that you actually, that's terrible advice. Don't drop out because you heard me say it in a fucking YouTube video. But if you feel like that's the direction that you want to go with your life, more power to you. Do what makes you happy. It's your life to live. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let anybody hold you back from being whoever it is you want to be, even if it doesn't feel like you're making the right decisions or whatever the hell. It doesn't matter, man. Just don't waste your time. Life is too long to spend it being miserable. Take it from me, who lives in a relative. No, that's not true. I was going to say I live in a constant state of misery, but that's just a bold lie. I'm not constantly miserable. I am genuinely pretty happy. Like, I don't know, 60% of the day, 70% of the day. I'm 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 alright most times, most days. Sometimes, most days. I think that's a better way to put it. I'm alright sometimes, most days. But truly, just do what makes you happy. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that, but I'm going to keep repeating it until I can gaslight myself into believing it. Do what makes you happy. Don't waste your time doing stupid stuff or going to school or whatever, because truthfully, honestly, genuinely, college is dumb as hell in my personal experiences. Everyone that I've known that's gone to college, their degree has gone to waste. And granted, it's probably their fault for picking a pretty worthless degree, but still, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of time. I don't have either. Well, all I have is time, but I don't have money. So I'm not planning on going to college anytime soon. That's my personal opinion, my personal life choice. Don't follow in my footsteps unless you feel that that is what is best for you. Don't take my advice with any sense of, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Do what makes you happy. That's the only advice that you should listen to from anybody ever. Do what makes you happy. Don't care about anybody else's thoughts and feelings, even mine. I'm over here rambling about how worthless school is and how boring or expensive and dumb college is and stuff, but there's a lot of people that they like that. They want to go to college. They want to further their education, and good for them. Good for you if you are one of those people. Like, I am not, as I've said many, many, many times. So I'm gonna just stop repeating myself, figure out where the hell I am, and, well, and I'll see you tomorrow or whenever the next video comes out, and we are gonna get out of this cave and travel the nether or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out next time. So thanks for listening, watching, being here, whatever. I love you, and have a good rest of your day.